Let's get some air in your head.
So you want a bit of an overview of using Google Earth. You might be using it for an assessment piece, or maybe you're developing a video or a movie or a PowerPoint. Well, using Google Earth is fantastic because someone's already put together all of the images for you. The images come from satellites, so they're looking down on the Earth from above. And what you're going to do is you're going to use the common buttons, just for now as an introduction, you're going to use the common buttons on Google Earth to explore a couple of places so that you can pursue this in your assessment pieces. So let's go have a look. Okie dokie, I've got Australia front and center, and you can see behind me, you've got a little what we call sneak peek bar. And that gives you a little bit more information about the location that you're looking at. Now I'll come back to the sneak peeks in a little while. But what I want to show you first is down in the bottom right hand corner. So down below me, way down at the bottom, there's the little Earth here, which looks pretty much exactly the same as the big Earth, it's just in black and white. Now that shows you what portion of the Earth you're looking at. So if I zoom in using these plus or minus buttons, so zooming in would be plus, you can either press the plus button to zoom in, or if you've got a rolly bar on your mouse, you can roll your rolly bar, or you can, if you've got an Apple mouse, you can slide your finger up and down. So I'm going to zoom in to this particular point, and you can see on the little black and white Earth down the bottom, there is a red box around the region that we're looking at. So you can see just how small an area of the Earth you're looking at. So the closer in you go, the smaller that box gets. The further out you go, the larger that box gets, until eventually it disappears and you're looking at most of the globe. Okay, so there we've got Australia. Now you can see that on the screen, I'm just using my mouse to drag around the Earth to where I want it. You'll also have noticed that on the screen, we have the animated clouds and also the lines of latitude and longitude. Now you can go over to this user-friendly bar on the left-hand side where it's got the burger, the magnifying glass, the steering wheel, the dice, the drop pointer, and this button here is the map style, the layers button. So if you click on that, you get the option of doing a clean world, or you can have borders and labels and places and roads, or you can have everything, or you can choose a custom. So let's say you're given an assessment piece and it's in geography and you have to look at a particular region. Well, you might drop down your borders and labels, and if you zoomed in on what country you want to look at, you might want to put in the states. Okay, so in Australia, we want to be able to see the states. You can see those state lines there. You might want to be able to see the localities as you get in really close. You might want to be able to see particular localities, be that council borders or county borders. You might be wanting to look at the neighbourhoods. You might do this drop down here, the places, which means you can highlight various options. So you might want to see all of the businesses, you might want to see just the schools, medical, attraction, etc., etc. So you've got lots of options. Do you want to see all the roads, or do you just want to see the major ones? Do you want to look at transit lines, stations, terminals, so that's your railway? Do you want to look at landmarks? Okay, so you might tick landmarks, and that gives you some more information upon the top of what you've already got. Now down the bottom here, you've got turn on 3D buildings, or turn on your animated clouds, or turn on your grid lines. Now I've got my grid lines on and I've got my animated clouds on. So if you turn them off, it gives you a clean globe as if there were no clouds at all. And if you turn off the grid lines, you lose those latitudes and longitudes. So on gives you latitude and longitude, off takes it away. If you have it on and you're doing geography, that gives you more information. Is it a tropical environment, as in between the equator and the Tropic of Cancer or Capricorn? Is it a temperate environment, which means between the Tropic of Cancer and the Antarctic Circle, or between the Capricorn, between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle? Those give you temperate climates, which means you can predict what types of biomes there are, which means you can predict the vegetation and the animal types. You can predict the types of climate, how much rain they might get, whether or not they have varying temperatures. So having those lines of latitude and longitude give you a larger depth of information from what you're just seeing on this globe. Okay, so I am now going to use my search magnifying glass because I want to go to Mount Everest. Seems to be a good mountain, good place to go to. So we've got the option of a mountain in Asia. We've got the option of somewhere in Manila, Mount Everest, somewhere in the Philippines, but we want to go to the mountain in Asia. And clicking on that takes us straight there. You can see it zooms in. It's giving us that satellite view as if you're in a drone zooming around the top of the mountain. Now, it's 8,000 meters tall. And so you can see the depth. It's actually really a very, very high mountain. Now, behind me, there's that sneak peek thing that I was talking to you about before. So if you want some more information about Mount Everest or whatever you are researching yourself, you can click on this More Info button and it gives you some stills. It gives you some photographs taken from on the actual surface of the land. So you can see the height, you can see the cloud cover, you can see the terrain, you can see the ice and snow. And it also gives you the option of jumping to Wikipedia for more information, and it gives you some very, very general information about the place that you're looking at. Okay, so that was in our sneak peek. Now you might choose to turn it off altogether using the X behind me, or you might like to minimize it, or you might like to add it to a project. So if you're doing a project where you want to jump from Mount Everest to Mount Kosciuszko to Mount Kilimanjaro, then you can add it to a project. So you add it to a project, you might make a new project. So there's new project, give yourself a title, and you save it there. And that's going to be one of the points that you can jump to in your project. So Google Earth is a really, really awesome tool to be able to use. It's going to give you so much data to be able to really, really have a good look at what you're doing and an in-depth understanding. And it's right here at your fingertips. It allows you to zoom in and zoom out. It allows you to look at what types of land you're looking at. Now, I've got the world upside down at the moment. You might want to turn it around or zoom over the other side. Look at that. Now we're going through Canada and the United States. So there you go. There's a general rundown of how to use Google Earth. And perhaps you might have found some of those details useful, and you might be inspired now to go and put this Google Earth information into one of your assessment pieces, or just go and explore the Earth from a satellite's point of view.
Let's get some Ed in your head.